it's a wild side. Truth bombs dropping, laughter's the key. Hit play, don't wait, it's where you wanna be.
Lily Abernathy. Lily Abernathy. Lily Abern. Oh, she's here. I see her.
Salutations and welcome to the brand new Real Ass podcast with Lily J. Abernathy. We know everyone is used to segments on this show and we are going to start with a brand new one. Also returning from Real Ass podcast with Louis J. Gomez is the wonderful producer Shannon Lee Hire. Say hey to everyone, Shannon, and let's get straight into the segment.
Hey everyone, glad to be here.
Scam that low.
Scam that Lou.
Scam that low.
That's right, folks. If we learned anything from the Real podcast of the past, it's that scams are great. The first and only scam I would like to talk about today is Scamming Louis. After seeing Sweeze and Swizzle rebrand their podcast, I decided to take it upon myself to continue the legacy of Real podcast with a rebranding myself. This may have been one of the easiest scams to pull of all time. All you have to do is wait for a semi-successful podcast to end their run or rebrand and then take it for yourself. As you can see, we simply started the Real Ass podcast from where it left off. While this is podcast episode 25, this is simultaneously Real Ass podcast 1214, a clever way to help boost the algorithm for an incredibly small, super serious podcast, or maybe just beyond belief. Either way, here we are. Next up, we have a brand new segment. Shannon, hit the clip. Let's keep it moving. We know everyone hates dead air.
Jake watch.
Jake watch.
Jake, watch.
That's right, folks. We've decided to sink that low. We will be keeping this segment going for every episode of the Real podcast that we do. The point of this? Well, when I heard that Jake moved to Los Angeles, I had a bet with producer Alan Akawa that Jake would more than likely die within roughly a year. As I am blocked by Jake on X, formerly Twitter, I'm going to need Shannon to pull up his X, formerly Twitter, and let's see if he's still alive and still being... Yeah, let's see. Looking like he's still alive. Oh, look, something about politics. How gay. Oh, wow. Did not know he was a cat guy that does matching outfits. Explains a lot. You really do learn something new every day, don't you? Okay, David Lynch meme, landlord meme, typical Jake. Okay, Shannon, I think we've spent enough time on Jake. He's still gay and political. This next segment hit very close to my heart. I know all of you are familiar with Real Dude of the Week, so I'm very proud to present to you this next segment. Hit it, Shannon. That's right, folks, we're talking stone fruits. Peaches, pears, rambutan, cherries. The good girl. And this week I want to bring to your attention a stone fruit you may be unfamiliar with. Hailing from China, sometimes called the red or Chinese date, the wonderfully sweet and crisp jujube. This has the texture of like a pear crossed with an apple. A little tart, but also mad sweet. You can crush like 3 or 4 with no issue. It isn't gay like an apple, so you don't have a core or all those little seeds. Jujube also makes a wonderful tea. Highly recommend. Stone fruit superiority, dead no cap for real y'all. Shannon, you ever tried a jujube before? What's your favorite stone fruit?
I have not, Lily. That does sound pretty delicious, though. I am a big fan of pears like Rick Ross, but I'd have to say mangoes are my favorite.
Top tier stone fruit for sure. Just had these frozen mango pieces covered in that sour they put on candy, and it was amazing. I'm going to go ahead and get you a package of jujubes sent to your house, Shannon. You have to try them. Plus, you're vegan or whatever. The jujube is this week's Real Stone Fruit of the Week. Go and get you some Playboys and Playgirls and report back to me on how you feel about them. Feel free to drop a comment while you are liking and subscribing to the podcast on your favorite stone fruit, and maybe suggest some you think I haven't tried. Okay, Shannon, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment. I really do hate this one, honestly, but since this is now a topical segment show, we are going for it. Hit it, Shannon.
Harder, Daddy Rogan.
I'm gay and fat.
Yup, With the election right around the corner, it seems comedy is trying to merge with politics even more with some bad players. Please remember, the merging of politics and comedy is mostly Jon Stewart's fault, and you can see me discuss it in my episode, Politics Are Gay, Always Have Been, Always Will Be. This past week, Tony Hinchcliffe, the roast master junior himself, decided that his already inflated ego wasn't big enough, that he needed to feel even more falsely important than he is. He decided to perform at a Trump rally where he made a joke about Puerto Ricans. I don't really care about the joke. It was hack, and he really only did it to provoke a reaction. I mean, that was the whole plan for Tony anyway. Be as cringe-edgy as possible while being wildly closeted, and then fall back on this excuse that you're a comedian, so you can't be criticized. It's really showing the colors of some comedians. It seems like the community is split into two teams. Tony can or has done something for their career, or Tony is gay and unfunny, lols. Either way, I do love seeing the hypocrisy of some of these comedians who have made their careers on being in quotations purists, but only if you're a touring working stand-up comic. All other forms of comedy are inferior, and if you are a civilian or a comic that makes less money than them, then your opinion doesn't matter. What's funny is almost all of these comedians are only in the position they are in due to podcasting, and not their actual stand-up. I'm not going to post the clip, but you can see Rogan already back stepping on some of his past praises of Tony in the JRE from this week with those two lame British hacks. I kind of went over how any time one of Rogan's boys seems to catch heat in the media, he publicly backtracks on them a bit to try and cover some face in the Brendan Callan episode, but this is another example of it. Also, it has been brought to my attention that Tony had a domestic violence case brought against him in 2016 by a woman, in fact. But I guess that is kind of common for Rogan's boys at this point. Anyway, let's move on to our last segment of the week. Shannon, hit that so we can get the out of here. Now that the Real Ass podcast has a new host, it has also moved from the Gas Digital Network to the Billionaire Podcast Network. It should really help boost the numbers now that we can say we have had guests like Tim Dillon, Andrew Schultz, and Mike Racine on the podcast. I mean, those dudes are famous. First up in BPN news this week is Corn-Fed with Dalton Lee Pruitt and Sal Michael. Sal's life is still in disarray because of Italian shenanigans. This week's episode guest starred Ian William of the band Holy Coast and the wonderful Cause representative Drew Huntley. Both these dudes rule. Check it out now. Next up in BPN news, it seems that Bert Kreischer is up to the same and cannot stop making up fake situations. Shannon, hit the clip of Bert.
Shout out to the kid. He's very talented. Krakamiko.
Krakamiko.
He wrote a really hateful song about me and Tom. That Ari was like, you gotta, I don't know why people love the negativity, but Ari's like, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. So I watch it, and I'm like, I didn't enjoy it. And, I mean, it's horrible. Don't pull it. I don't even want to see it. I mean, it hurt my feelings. Like it a weekend up for me. A weekend I was just really bothered by it. They called me on Legion of Skanks, and they were like, what did you think of it? And I was like, it sucked. I was like, I wish I hadn't seen it. And then he did an apology video. He sent me a DM, this guy. He was like, man, I'm sorry. I'm a huge fan. And it's clear when you watch this song, this guy has to be a massive fan of mine to have the amount of information about me that he has. He knew who my dad's old clients were. Like he knew that only a mega fan would know.
My dad worked for the Church of Scientology when I was a kid.
Why? What?
My dad beat the Church of Scientology in court. L. Ron Hubbard said, anyone who can beat us is good enough for me. Put him on retainer. And he said, I'm so sorry. I am a massive fan, and I got caught up in the hate to get views. And then he got attacked. He got attacked really bad. And then he had to double back and be like, it was all a joke.
Can you take me, Kreischer?
I've seen him in person. He's a smaller stature dude, and he's a nice guy. I saw him at Skanks Fest recently. He was terrified of me. Like I wanted to say hi to him, and he ran away.
Hey, big fat liar.
How would you ever let that guy affect your
We won't spoil anything, but go ahead and head on over to Krakamiko's YouTube page to see the emergency crack house live that he did on the situation. And finally, I did some work for Robbie some months ago, and I'm going to go ahead and release another one of the clips from it. Shannon, hit the clip. Enjoy.
Hey, shabba dabba, woo, abba dabba, woo. Hey there, Howard. How's it going? We didn't used to be buddies, but now we are. But I used to listen to your show, and I said, why doesn't he like my movies? Why doesn't he like my movies? And then I heard Normie told me that you wanted me on, and I said, oh, he wants me on. That's something that could have come to my attention yesterday. I want to be in this small penis contest.
Dang! Robbie rules. Oh, before I forget, the infamous Ray DeVito was on the Crowder Boys this week. Give it a run back or two. All right, folks, there you have it. The new Real podcast with Lily J. Abernathy, now a part of the Billionaire Podcast Network. I wanted to thank Shannon for continuing to be a part. I hope everyone had a wonderful Halloween and that you also watched Hubie. Classic. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. This has been Lily J. Abernathy, signing off so I can go get soup dumplings. Ciao.
That's all, folks.